There we go. All right. Um, this is an interview for my social work 340 class for a career choice. My name is Elizabeth McIntyre. I'm currently a student at HSU, and I am trying to complete an assignment here. This is my mother-in-law and interviewee. Would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Collie Earlhart, and I am here to be interviewed by Elizabeth.
um, so we're supposed to ask about your career choice. I know you were previously a nurse and are retired now, so we're going to ask past tense.
Yeah.
So your career choice was?
I was a nurse almost 25 years, so I would consider that my real career, although I'm retired now, which I enjoy a lot more.
And I know that you were a nurse, you said, for 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
So before becoming a nurse, did you have anything that may have influenced or motivated you to make that choice?
Well, there's a lot of medical type people in my family. Lots of nurses. My mother's a nurse. One of her sisters is a nurse. Two of her nieces are a nurse. My sister is a nurse. I was a nurse. So, and then lots of CNAs in the family. So we, that influenced me to go towards that career path.
And then, did you have any hopes and dreams that you were studying before becoming a nurse?
Well, before I became a nurse, I didn't really know what nursing was all about. I picked that career because I could earn money, not because I was there. I mean, I was there because I care about people and stuff, but I could have picked another place to go to care about people, but I picked nursing because you could actually make decent money too. So.
And in all of that, did you have any expectations before starting that journey that might have been met or not been met through your career of nursing?
Well, I didn't really know what to expect. I went to school, of course, so that really gives you some time in your, to learn. I spent a lot of time in clinicals and that kind of stuff before I became a nurse. The one thing that I wished was different is that it's so focused on paperwork now, and it's not so focused on the patient anymore. And it used to be nursing was patient focused, and so I'm sad about that. That's I'm sad about. But that there's nurses that are normally out there because they really want to help people, and I've been a patient a few times, and I've had some really good nurses that have taught me from the other perspective of how to be. I didn't know how to be a patient. I knew how to be a nurse. So.
And as far as like anything that happened in your nursing career that may have led you to have a change of heart or to see it from other perspective other than being a job to make money?
Yeah, well, again, I took the job. I went through school because I knew I could make money. But I would say I was a nurse for about 6 months, and it was really difficult trying to learn. And my first job was in a nursing home, what I swore I would never work in a nursing home. But one day I was working, and I just turned around and I looked at this little old lady who was sitting in her wheelchair, and she was kind of, contracted, and and no teeth, And I looked at her, and all of a sudden it was like I was looking at her through like the Great Spirit's eyes, It was like all of a sudden I saw her beauty, who she really was, and who she was from the moment she was born, till that moment, and how much the Great Spirit loved her, and how that love came flowing out of me. And then all of a sudden I was not like working, and it wasn't so hard anymore. It was all of a sudden I could come to work because I really loved being there. So yeah, a big change of heart.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier to want to go to work when you feel like you want to go. I do remember Frank, my stepdad, taking me in to see the elderly folks in the nursing home, and one big thing, his favorite thing to do was on Halloween to make sure he took us there because they tend to love seeing the kids in the costumes and stuff. But we went more than just Halloween. He took me on several different occasions to visit, and Yeah, it was quite enlightening with the stories you can be told.
I love those stories. Oh, with the older people, when they tell you their life stories and stuff like that, it's just, I mean, it's like you're stepping into another world. It's like reading a book, and you're stepping into another world. You step into their world, and you get to know them. And when they put their pictures up on the wall and stuff, and you can see when they got married and who they were as a baby, it brings them to life. They're not just somebody I have to get through to get to the next person. It's like, this is Mrs. So-and-so, this is Mr. So-and-so, and they're important. So.
Did you have any concerns or issues before becoming a nurse that may have been, like, more leading you in that direction other than just family and money? And
my biggest reason for going that way was, the biggest influence really was my mom. I knew that I could have a good support myself being a nurse and my children, because I was a single parent most of my life. And so I chose it for that reason, really. No, the concern. I didn't know that I could be a nurse. I didn't know I had the ability to do that. I just did it because, honestly, because I could make the money, get income.
And you had mentioned earlier that you had worked in a nursing home as your first job, even though that wasn't the first choice or a choice you really wanted. What was the area you really wanted to go into with nursing before working in the field?
Well, a couple of years before I went to nursing school, my sister had a premature baby. It's about 5.5 months. It's about 2 pounds 8 ounces. And I was watching all that and watching her intensive care, and of course taking care of my sister's other kids so she could be there, because that was her third baby, and everything. And she was in the hospital for over 3 months, and she just had a lot of issues and stuff. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to go in and work with the children. I didn't want to work with the elderly, so I ended up with the other end of the spectrum. But being that I'm becoming elderly now, I'm being able to see things from the perspective of the patients I used to take care of, which is kind of unique. It's also, I even thought about writing a book about this, because I spent 3.5 months in a nursing home myself as a patient, and I want to write a book of me as a nurse and the perspective that way, and then me as a patient and the perspective that way, because you get better nursing skills being a patient.
I guess. Is there anything else you wanted to share about your career as a nurse?
Well, I just say that nursing is really difficult. It's very emotionally challenging and draining. It's physically challenging and draining. I think that the people out there that work in nursing, the CNAs, the LVNs, LPNs, and the RNs, they really work hard, and they really care. Most of them, they really do care. They're there, but nowadays they're just overworked and everything. One thing I do like that I see has changed is they're requiring more education for the RNs now. They're really not hiring now. If you're an RN and you lose your job for one reason or another, it's more difficult to find another job in nursing, because they want you to have a bachelor's degree now.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Well,
And then
that's interesting to know.
it was just an associate's degree, but now they really want you to have a bachelor's degree. And there's even some states that don't allow you to work unless you have a bachelor's degree. And California is going in that direction. So
I guess it's good I'm working on a bachelor's degree in social work then.
Mm-hmm.
I personally could see social work and nursing having a lot of the same
very
run-ins and emotional connections and ties with your clients.
I work with social workers all the time. I mean, our nursing team, in the job that I had longest, was almost 9 years. Our nursing team included a social worker. So.
As a matter of fact, I've thought about being one of the social workers in the hospital due to the experience when Shasta was born, and the social worker and finding the help that she was able to give us.
That was good.
I mean, there wasn't a whole lot, but there was enough that we were able to get through it with a little bit less stress than it would have been otherwise. And that really kind of made me interested to pursue maybe something like that in my future, which I'm not sure where I'm going, but that is an idea.
Yeah, but I didn't even know that you were thinking that way.
So I'm going to close here shortly because we've got about 5 minutes left, but I definitely want to make sure that you felt like you've been able to share all that you feel it's necessary.
Yeah, I think so. I went through all that stuff about talking about how hard nursing was, but I also have to do the other part and talk about how rewarding it is. Because when you do touch somebody who's sick, and you physically you lay your hand on them and you can feel their body changing, or you just smile at them and you see them smile back at you, and you see that making a change in them. To me, that's the most important thing, and that's in social work. You're doing the exact same thing. Your hands are healing, Elizabeth.
Well, yeah.
They're healing, and you use that in social work. You use that healing.
Well, they say that connection is why we're here.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I believe it. That's part of what our experience is supposed to be before we go to the next level, whatever that is. We're gonna level up.
And sorry, I hate that I get so emotional sometimes when thinking, but I wanted to ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, how well would you say you felt I understood what you were sharing and listened to?
Well, I think you completely understood what I was sharing, and you asked good questions, and had to make me think about stuff. So that's good. I think you did very good interviewing me.
So what would
I
you
give
say?
You a 10.
Okay, we gotta make sure we got that in there, and then I want to just thank you for participating in this with me, and it's been a pleasure. Okay, we're gonna cut off now. I don't know if this is gonna be long enough, but I hope so. Anyway.